Hey! I feel like it's been a while since I've been here, but in reality I have just not recorded anything for a couple of weeks, even though I've been putting out vlogs for you guys. So I wanted to stick something down today so that I didn't forget about vlogging and sharing a little bit about independent life as an indie artist. And today I'm talking about having only 3 guitars. Only 3. Only 3. So sad. Well, kind of. I know there's lots of people who think 3 guitars? Why do you need 3 guitars? You only need 1 guitar. So people come up to me regularly, particularly at gigs and events, and they say, hey, how many guitars do you have? What guitars do you have? And I feel kind of ashamed when I say, oh, well, I've got this, and I've got this. And they're like, really? Is that all? Like, of course I want more. Of course. I've got a couple of guitars on my dream list. Hey, if you're watching this, you're a millionaire and you've got a few grand to spare, then you know where to send it. Before I get into coveting other people's guitars or guitars that I may never have, let me talk to you about the 3 that I do have, and I love them very much. I'm very, very grateful for them. Each one of these guitars has a story, so stick around to hear the story of each one of them. Before you go anywhere, please do subscribe if you haven't already. I've had a bunch of new people watching the videos. I know, because my stats are saying you've got way more watchers than you normally have. So thank you if that is you and you're watching this and kind of connecting to the vlog side of my channel for the first time. Mate, it is amazing to see you here. Please do hit the subscribe button, and of course there is the option to join the YouTube membership as well, but I'll share a little bit more about that later. Check it out if you're interested. So before we look at each of the guitars, I also want to say I've owned more than 3 guitars in my life, but these are the 3 that I have kept. In fact, I've owned 4 more, I think. Definitely a dodgy acoustic, definitely a dodgy electric, a really nice Guild Dreadnought that I turned into an electroacoustic which sounded amazing but quite bright, and an Art and Luthier acoustic as well. So I've had a few, but for various reasons I've sold them. I don't regret selling most of them. There's only one that I slightly regret, but I wasn't really using it and I couldn't justify keeping it. The first guitar that I want to show you, it's a little bit dusty because it's been sitting in the studio for a couple of weeks without being dusted or anything. In fact, I haven't dusted this studio for months. It's my Simon & Patrick guitar. It is, you can see there, I love this guitar. It is my oldest acoustic guitar that I own. I did have one before this which sounded terrible when plugged in. I didn't check it properly in the shop beforehand, regretted it as soon as I plugged it in for the first time, but this guy has always sounded great. I remember buying it in Tottenham Court Road area for £400. This was a number of years ago now, and it has just been a mainstay for me. I love this guitar so much, and it really is battered and bruised. I played hundreds of gigs with it. As you can see here, this has no lacquer on it at all, so that one day I fear there'll be a hole here because I've used it so much. My strumming action isn't exactly technically correct, so there's just stacks. There's so much dust on this thing. It's had a lot of wear and tear, but I don't mind at all. It currently doesn't have any pickups that work, so I need to get that fixed, but that's okay. I generally don't use it for live at all. I just use it as my songwriting guitar. It's a guitar that I just sit down, and as soon as I play it, I'm just like, ah, I feel at home. This is amazing. So let me just play. It's just like, it's not, I can't tune it fully, so it might sound slightly out of tune. It's also had lots of nice wear and tear on the back. You can see there where I've just gone up and down. You can see where I generally play, and it's just so nice and woody. Nice sustain, love it, absolutely love it. I feel this guitar has grown with me, been on the artist journey with me. It is the guitar I used for my first ever gig, and I just, yeah, I feel like it's got so much history that I could never ever sell it. So there you go, my Simon & Patrick beautiful luthier guitar. Alright, let me take you to my guitar corner here, and down here is where I store my other two guitars. I appreciate it's a bit messy behind me. This is a different angle to what you'd normally see. But while I'm down here with my guitars, I wanted to pull out this second guitar, second acoustic, which is my Gibson J45. This beauty is insane. This guitar reminds me of when I got married. I had some rent deposit from a place that I was living in before we got married that I got back from the property, which was great, and I kind of subtly suggested to Lizzie, hey, I really need a new guitar. I really need a new acoustic guitar that I can use all the time. I was probably playing 3 times a week at that time, so I really needed something that was going to be long lasting, quality sounding, and I could just plug in and play. And I said, look, there's this guitar I've seen just over £1,000 in Wales. Would you mind if I went over to have a look at it and potentially buy it? She amazingly agreed. That's when I knew that I'd married well. Let's move back. To be honest with you, this J45 was a steal. They normally go for around £1,800. Yes, I've got it second hand. There were a couple of scratches on it. There are now more scratches on it and more little knocks in it, which certainly makes it mine. And I have started wearing out a tiny bit of the actual guitar, which at the time I was pretty sad about, but now I'm pretty happy with because it makes it my own. So I couldn't quite believe it when I saw the price of £1,050 for this guitar. I was like, oh my goodness, this is a steal. And it has never sounded bad. Like, I'm always really happy with it. The only time when it sounds a little bit tinny is when I first put strings on, so I had to play it in a little bit more than what I would do on other guitars, but once it's in, it's really in. I've had a little bit of work done to it over the years. A couple of times it's been reset up and it does need refretting. I'm kind of holding on to get it refretted, if I'm honest, but it does need it. This guitar sounds very different to the Simon & Patrick. It's less woody, it's brighter, and the thing I love about it is when I play it live, sound engineers often are like, well, I don't have to EQ it too much. You know, there's not a lot that I need to do to make it sound even better. I'll try and get it up so you can see it. What I love about this is the sustain on it. It just goes on and on and on and on, which is awesome. It's also really challenging when I'm doing like a YouTube Shorts video or a TikTok video where the sustain just keeps running on and I wanted to end the video there, but I'm like, oh, do I end it? Do I stop it? So I feel very fortunate to have been able to pick this up when I did. It is definitely going to be one of those guitars that I will keep. I feel it sounds better with age. This has been a beautiful guitar to have for several years now and I love it. And every time I play it at home, particularly if I sit down in our lounge and play it, Lizzie's like, oh, that sounds amazing, you know. Straight away, the tone is there. I think I've gone on long enough about my love affair with my J45. At this point you may be hearing a bit of a buzz. That is because my amp is right here and it is quite old. It probably needs some more repairs, so I one day might need to get rid of it. I use a Fender Junior. It is super loud. Take it wherever I go for gigs because you don't need to turn it up that loud to be able to hear it. In fact, my main problem with it is it's too loud even on volume 2. My third guitar is my Fender Tele Custom Mexican version. So it's the cheaper version, not the more expensive one. When I tour as Pyramid Park, I often play with a few friends of mine. Joe, who also plays guitar, you may have seen him if you've been to one of our gigs. He and I call this a pub tar, where it's like the quality is good enough, it sounds good live, you're happy playing it, it feels comfortable, but it's not your A-star kind of guitar, which you wouldn't want right in air to drop in the hole. You know, this is something where if it breaks, if there's a crack on the neck, if there's something wrong with it, I would cry, but I wouldn't cry that much compared to if I lost my J45. Why is it called pub tart? Well, experience has told me in pub gigs, you're never too far away from a pint spilling on some bit of equipment, so you want to make sure you're not bringing your absolute best equipment to those types of gigs. So while the Simon & Petra guitar that I've got has played the most gigs in the UK, this guitar has probably played the most gigs in Europe. I travel with it all over the place and I'm not so worried or precious about it getting knocked about and potentially broken one day. There's something about this guitar, it's very simple, quite versatile, great for rhythm, because when I'm singing I'm often playing a lot of rhythm parts rather than loads of lead parts. I wanted something that had buttons like this at the bottom, but also the toggle here. I found with my slightly erratic strumming that I would sometimes knock, if there was a button here, the toggle into a different tone, and I want to have more control of it over here. I saw this and thought, wow, that's cool, and it was reduced by 80 quid. Someone had returned it, it had a couple of scratches, like really minor, teeny weeny scratches on the scratch plate, which I was going to create anyway while playing it, and so I bought it. I think it was around £580, so a decent whack of money, but not super expensive in guitar world. I think this is where I first played a song called Cosmic Politics, and then used a similar pattern to create a song called Born to be Brave. It's just brilliant for playing like rhythmic stuff. And while in the studio I don't usually use this, I use producer Ian Hutchison's guitar. It's a Tele, which is much nicer than this. It's got a similar style and feel to it, so I can create parts on this guitar and then recreate those on a better quality guitar. I don't songwrite on it very often. I love to play live with it. It's heavy, but it's not too heavy for playing live. I've definitely played heavier guitar. It's a lot of fun to play with. It sits well on my body. I'm quite small, so it's perfect for a shorter person as well, which does make a difference because some guitars are absolutely massive on me. So there are my 3 guitars. I hope you've enjoyed seeing them. Perhaps I'll get another one fairly soon. Who knows? If you haven't already, please do subscribe, hit the bell button so you get notified for more videos from me. And if you're interested in getting behind what I do as Pyramid Park and you want to kind of put a little bit of money behind it, go check out the membership program. What you get back, a load of content from me that you wouldn't normally see, plus songs and extra goodies that you just wouldn't get normally from me. So go check that out, have a look, see if it's something for you, and if you want to find out more information, feel free to send me a message as well. Thanks for watching, see you soon.